Hi everyone, it's Lynnea for LDRS Creative. Today I'll be using some new items from the Halloween and Christmas release to create a simple shaker card, but this one is going to be a shaped and set back shaker card. So instead of having a simple shape like a square or a circle, I'm actually going to be taking the shape of this potted poinsettia stamp set and creating a shaker card from that. So to start with, I do need to stamp out the potted poinsettia stamp set and color this. So I'm stamping with Raven Hybrid ink because that is alcohol marker safe. And I'm going to be coloring with a variety of alcohol markers. I'll show you which markers I am coloring with at the beginning of each of my color schemes, I guess you could say. I'm using a green color scheme, a red, and then also kind of a tan or a tannish orange kind. So I'll be showing you all the markers I'll be using at the start. So you can grab a quick screenshot or take a photo if you want to recreate my coloring exactly. My coloring is no different than what I usually do, so it is very simple. I start with my darkest color, which in this case is the YG09. Then I'm going to move on to my next darkest color, the G14, and then just continue on from there. So for the green, it was quite simple. I started with dark, and then I had my, what I call my dark medium, and then my light medium, and then my lightest coloring. For my flowers themselves, I have a lot more markers here, and that's because I really wanted the flowers to pop. So I'm starting with my dark color, which is R59. I like to have a scary dark color, a color that's so dark when you put it down, it kind of makes you second guess if that's the darkest color that you should use. Then I'll move into R39, then R29, R27, and R35. And I'm just coloring, like I said, very simply, putting down the darkest color first where I think there should be shadows, and then blending that out. So in this case, I have a lot of medium. I think I have 3 shades of medium. So I just go in descending order, starting with my darkest and then moving on down. I'm doing the same thing here for the pot. I wanted to have kind of a terracotta colored pot, a more traditional. I'm going very traditional with this whole thing. The leaves are a traditional Christmas green and the poinsettia is a traditional color. But I have seen a couple members of the design team doing blue poinsettias, and I think those are absolutely gorgeous. And I might try to work up the nerve to go untraditional and do a blue poinsettia one of these days. So once this is all colored in, I'm going to set this to the side. This is usually when you would die cut that image. But instead, I have chosen a piece of pattern paper from the Peace and Joy 6x6 paper pack. I cut this down to A2 size. That's going to be the size of my card front. So this is cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And rather than cutting out my stamped image, I am going to die cut from the center of this pattern paper piece. And I should mention that I'm not going to throw away that positive portion of the die cut. I need this negative piece, the background piece. But don't throw away the piece that actually cuts out because you can definitely use that. You can see here how I'm going to create that set back shaker. So when you die cut an image, the LDRS dies leave just a slight white border. So that's going to allow me to see that whole potted poinsettia behind my shaker. I added some double-sided adhesive tape behind my pattern paper piece. Then I'm covering that whole thing with a piece of acetate. So now I have that wall there that's going to form the front of my shaker. I didn't get this quite lined up correctly, so I'm just going to take my scissors and trim away any of the acetate that's overhanging. I really just had a bit hanging off of the bottom. Then I'm going to flip this around, and I'm using double thick foam tape. That's going to allow my shaker bits to really move around. I hate when I create a shaker and the shaker pieces don't move. It's so disappointing. So I'm going to make sure that I use a super thick foam tape to make sure that there's enough room in my shaker card for my sequins to move around. I'm cutting little skinny strips to go up the side so that I can be sure that I can create all 4 walls of my shaker. And then you'll see me even come in here and I'm just going to block off other portions because the sequins really don't need to go all the way up into those top and bottom corners. I want them to stay pretty much where the poinsettia is. I have a shaker mix here that has gold and some shimmer gold and then some white sequins too. This is something that I like to use for a lot of shakers, but specifically Christmas shakers. Then I'm going to take my shaker piece here and align that up over that potted poinsettia stamped and colored image. Might not get perfectly lined up the first time, so I'm just going to peel that back and try again. This will be able to get perfectly lined up if you get your head right over the top because I used that coordinating die. Now, because I didn't care to stamp quite in the middle because I knew that I could always trim away any excess cardstock. So that's what I'm doing now. You want to make sure that rather than lining up the edges of your cardstock like you normally would with a shaker, you're lining up that cutout frame with the stamped potted poinsettia. So here is my cute little shaker card. That's that set back image, and all those sequins are going to move over the top of that. I stamped a sentiment from the potted poinsettia stamp set using Scarlet Rose ink so that would coordinate with my flowers. And here is my finished set back shaker card. Thank you all for watching this video. I have linked the LDRS creative products that I used in the video description below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you again very much for watching this video. If you liked this video and you'd like to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button that is on the screen now. And here are a few other videos that I thought you might enjoy.